Maayan Harod. In Arabic, it is called Ain Jalat, a spring from which fresh water flows through a cave, which is currently located in the Maayan Harod National Park. The cave is called Gideon's Cave, after Gideon the judge who fought with the Midianites. It is written in the book of Judges. Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him, rose up early, and pitched beside En Harod. And the camp of Midian was on the north side of them, by Gibbeth Morah, in the valley. Gideon examined the warriors. The 300 warriors who drank water from the spring without kneeling, were chosen to go into battle and won it. In 1260 AD there was a battle of Ain Jalat, between the Mongols and the Mamluks. The Mongols conquered Asia, in Baghdad killed the inhabitants and eliminated the rule of the Muslim house of Abbas. They continued to Israel, crossed the Jordan River and reached Maayan Harod. In the land of Israel the Crusaders ruled and were called the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The Mamluks led by Sultan Qatos ruled Egypt, and began to intensify and grow. Sultan Qatos set out with Emir Bibars and their army to fight the Mongols, and met them at Maayan Harod. It is estimated that on each side there were about 20,000 warriors. The Mamluks won and stopped the spread of the Mongols. On their way back to Egypt, Bibars assassinated his commander Sultan Qatos, and inherited the sultan's throne. He returned to Israel and conquered it and destroyed almost all the cities. In 1921, pioneers from the Labor Battalion, who had socialist and communist ideas, settled near the spring, set up camp and began drying the swamps. They called the settlement Ain Harod, and also established Tel Yosef nearby. At that time, Kibbutz Jiva and Moshev Kfar Yeheskel were established in front of the spring. After 2 years, the people of Ain Harod were divided on the question of whether the settlement would be based on a small group or a large group of residents. The members of the idea of the large group remained in Ain Harod and the members of the small group moved to Tel Yosef. Over time, Ain Harod moved to a permanent location nearby, and in the camp near the spring, groups of pioneers were trained to build settlements. The people of Ain Harod founded the United Kibbutz movement led by Tabenkin in connection with the Adat HaAvoda movement, and other kibbutzim with the same ideology joined them. Some members of Ain Harod withdrew from the idea of a united kibbutz, and established Kfar Vitkin. After the establishment of the State of Israel, in the camp near the spring, the Gideona labor village was established by Jewish immigrants from Yemen. It was a form of settlement in which the residents worked as employees outside the locality. Over the years they became a community village. In the early 1950s, the Adat HaAvoda party united with the Mapam party, which was a communist with an affiliation with Stalin's Soviet Union. In contrast, there was a Mapai party led by Ben-Gurion that advocated a connection to the West. This political debate became a huge rift in kibbutzim. Kibbutzim split, families and friends became enemies. The kibbutz union movement for Mapai supporters was established. Kibbutz Ain Harod was divided into 2 kibbutzim, Ain Harod Muchad and Ain Harod Ihud. Many residents of Kibbutz Tel Yosef moved to Kibbutz Beit Hashida. Many of Beit Hashida moved to Ayelet Hashachar. After 2 years, the Unity Labor and Mapam parties separated, but the rift in the kibbutzim remained. The kibbutz movements reunited in 1980 and are called the United Kibbutz Movement. In 1999, the National Kibbutz Movement that supported Mapam joined and they are called the Kibbutz Movement.